Hello, how is everyone doing? So, today's topic is how to deal with procrastination, or how to get started, how to get motivated, or how to stay motivated. So, we'll discuss some points on how can you do so, and I'll also break them down in the description for you guys. So, yeah, let's get started. Number one point is figuring out the reasons. Why do you want to do this thing? Why do you want to be someone or something? And you can really write all the reasons down and just try to distinguish between external and internal, and try to just see what might be your motivation behind doing something. And this point is really important because it can be really helpful in figuring out if you are doing something just for the sake of external validation, or if you really enjoy that thing, or that thing is in alignment with your true self. Because at times we are just chasing a feeling and not really the thing. So for example, if I think that I want to be an actress, okay, now it could be that my real motivation is acting. I enjoy the process of acting. It could be my motivation. But then one another motivation could be I just want to be famous, because being famous will make me feel like I'll get that external validation, I'll feel respected by others. Now there is nothing wrong in that, but it would be really hard to just stay motivated and sustain if that is your only motivation, because the real journey is the thing. The real journey is acting, and if you don't enjoy that, then would you be able to sustain in it? So it's kind of a mix. So I'm not saying that external motivation is bad necessarily, but you just need to have a balance between these two, because what will make you stick to that thing actually is the feeling of are you really enjoying the process. Because a lot of the times if you really like a thing, it's just becomes automatically somewhat easier to get motivated. I know it's not always the case, you can still get demotivated even if you really like something, because it could just be a matter of like building habits or feeling lazy. But still I think it can give you an idea of, it can also give you an idea of whether you are living a life which truly aligns with you, which could also help you in living a fulfilling life. So yeah, I think figuring out your reasons becomes really important in this case, because your reasons are also something that will kind of keep you going. So for example, on days you feel really demotivated, you'll just remind yourself of all the reasons of why did you start something in the first place itself. Like, why is this thing that you are trying to achieve, and for that you want to be motivated, why is it so important to you? And it really depends on person to person. Like for someone, internal motivation is really important. Like if they don't have that internal sense of motivation, like if someone does not enjoy that process of acting, then external motivation for them becomes irrelevant in that case. But for some people, external motivation could also work. So yeah, in any of these cases, I think figuring out the reasons why can help you in the journey, because whenever you will come back to that why, then it could just really help you. What else it can help you is, it can really help you figure out if this is the thing that you want to do. Because as I said, if you just figure out that okay, it is not acting that I enjoy, but I just wanted to feel that sense of respect, then maybe you'll try doing other things that you might actually enjoy, if having that process of really liking something that you are doing is important to you. So for example, people just get into things that they think will give them that feeling, but it's just that feeling that they are after and not that thing. And then you just figure out, okay, I'm the kind of person who just can't do this because I need that internal motivation. Then it could be hard. Of course, it's really important to just explore things and not think and ruminate too much before starting something. But yeah, just trying to ask yourself why do you want to do something can help regardless, because maybe it can give you more clarity, and it can then also help you figure out if this is something you really want, or if you would now, after just figuring out the whys, you would like to explore something else. So in any case, it is always helpful. Okay, so the number two thing that can help you is the opposite of point one. Why are you not doing something? So, if you have been procrastinating a lot, you might just need to pause there for a moment and not criticize yourself too much, but just try to see yourself through this understanding perspective, because it will become easier. Like, living with your own self will always be easier if you just try to understand yourself and not criticize yourself, because then it can become really hard to motivate yourself, because it will just feel like, imagine a parent who never tries to understand you, but that parent just always is there to demean you, so you would be doing the same thing to your own self. So just try to understand why you are not doing something. Now procrastination can go two ways as far as I have like thought about it. For me it is like, if I don't do something, either there is a fear attached to it. That fear can be real or it could just be a limiting belief. For example, I could fear that I would not be able to do it in a way that is perfect, or I would not be able to do it properly, or I don't have all these skills of doing it. Like, there's a fear there attached to it. Or the second thing could be that procrastination can be due to something that you really find to be boring. So in that case, you need to just figure out, if you really want to do that thing, you need to figure out how to make the process more enjoyable. So for example, if I want to brush my teeth every night before going to sleep, now I know I need to do that, so I'll make it easier by just listening to songs while brushing my teeth. So this is kind of the example of procrastinating, because the activity is very boring. Another one could be, I'm just afraid to start a social media page. Now in this case, I could really like expressing myself, but the fear could be of, I'm afraid that I am insecure and that I am not that confident on screen yet. So in this case, there is a fear which you will have to overcome, and you'll always have to remind yourself that it will take time for you to get comfortable. So yeah, number 2 point is, try to understand why you are doing so. And procrastination can be two ways, like either fear, or it's like the activity itself being boring, but it can also be a lot of other things. But you just need to figure out why are you not doing that thing, and it can also give you a lot of answers and then lead you towards a lot of solutions indeed. So point number 3 is kind of interconnected with point number 2, because point number 3 is perfectionism. So if you are the kind of person who just thinks that you need to be perfect at something in order to start something, or if you just feel that if you are in a profession or if you are doing something that you need to be the best, otherwise you can't do it, then again you will have to work through this limiting belief. And there could also be other limiting beliefs which are preventing you from doing that thing. And perfectionism is one of the most like common beliefs of them, because at times we don't start something because we just feel like, I'm not talented enough. Or whenever you watch a reel on Instagram, okay, and a person is doing all those things that you think that I have the similar skills, or it's the same idea that I had the other day, but then you just wonder, if I start my Instagram page, I might not be as good as this person. And if that's the reason you are not doing it, then you just need to get out of those tendencies, because it takes time for everyone to just have their own journey. So I think perfectionism is one of that things that kind of hinder people a lot, because even if you are like in the process of doing something, for example, if you are doing an internship, okay, and if you see this co-worker of yours being better at it, and even though you actually like your work, that comparison might still hinder you from doing it, because you can get so demotivated seeing that person, when you can just tell yourself that, okay, I can also improve. So I think perfectionism and comparison are again two things that can really hinder you. And the solution is, again, I think the best solution is to be more compassionate towards yourself, and just remind yourself that you are a human. Like, imagine you have this friend who is like amazing at expressing herself, okay, Now when she comes to you saying that I really want to start an Instagram page, but the only reason that I'm not starting is because I want to be like this person, but if I start I'm not like her. That sounds kind of weird, but that is actually a belief a lot of people have. They just think that they need to be perfect, and if they are not comparing themselves with others, they are kind of in this competition with their own self, where they just kind of have this feeling of not being good enough. These two are very interconnected. I think one thing that has really helped me in this perfectionism thing is to just believe that I don't really need to be the best at everything. For example, if I'm following a few creators on Instagram, they are unique in their own way, and just because one creator has less following than the other creator does not mean that their content is not relevant to me. So just imagine if they stop making content just thinking that I am at 150k while the other creator is at 300k. Like it's just an example how at times you think that you have to be just the best at everything and you have this being perfect tendencies, but then you just realize that all you need to do is maybe to just do that thing with all the efforts you can. So I think, yeah, that really helps. Number 4 is fear driven action. So for example, if I don't brush my teeth every night before going to sleep, then I might have to go through painful procedures later. So fear driven action can actually help, especially if you really want to change your life. If you really want to do something that you really like, just have that fear of, if you won't do anything right now, 2 years from now you will be at the same position. 2 years from now maybe you'll see someone else who has done all those things that you could have done, and you could also have been there. So having that fear of anything not changing, have that fear of being stuck, fear of not able to live your dream life, or even a fear of something deteriorating, like in this case I gave the brushing example. So have that fear for things, have that fear and know the consequences of not doing something. That can really help. And point number 5 is reward, which is again kind of contradictory to point number 4. Reward can go both ways. Again, imagine the long term reward. So imagine the long term reward of just pursuing after your dream. It could give you a very fulfilling life, and it could give you a life that you have always wanted to live. This is kind of the long term reward, which is kind of uncertain, but it can always help to just think that what if everything works out, what if everything works out in a positive way. Then short term rewards, for example, just try to do something and give yourself a reward for it. For example, if I'll do this, then I'll take myself out for shopping. Short term rewards can also be very motivating. So these are some things that has helped me, and I hope that they help you too. And I wish you all the best in your journey, and I hope that you achieve all the things that can really fulfill you. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye. The first few are kind of like you need to ask yourself important questions, and that is more of like internal motivation. And